Hello my crafty friends, I'm so glad you're here because in this video we're going to be DIY crafting some gorgeous home decor pieces using Dollar Tree supplies. And one of those supplies is going to be their viral, famous peel and stick wallpaper. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, for this DIY we're going to be using 2 of these wood plaques, and these are from Dollar Tree. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by cutting one of these in half long ways. Then we're going to take them and we are going to spray paint them with this beautiful rustic pink color. Now, I got this on clearance because it had that on it, but what do I care? But anyway, so I got this for $2 at Walmart. So let's go ahead and get this cut and get them spray painted. Now we have them both painted, and for this next step we're going to take our peel and stick wallpaper and we are going to stick it down to our tray. Now so I'm going to be using the middle part of my paper, and what I'm going to do is try and cut it out this time and see how that works. I'm just going to smash it along the sides here and mark the area where I need to cut it. This I don't need to cut, but down here. Okay, so let's see. I think I can see it good enough to cut it. So let's give it a whirl. All right, so let's go ahead and cut out our print. We'll see how accurate we can get. Okay, so we have it cut out. Now we're going to stick it down and then we'll finish it off on the edges with the sandpaper. So let's do that. We're just going to stick it down here. I think I'm going to try all of it. Also, you know what I want to do too is I want to add some glue stick. So let's add some glue stick. I almost forgot about my glue stick. Okay. Now we're going to stick it down. And it is sticky. Perfect. Okay, and there's just a little overhang, so not much like we had before. So we're just going to take the sandpaper and go around the edges and knock those off like this. All right, now that we have it on and it's stuck down and dried, I also took some Rub and Buff in the antique gold, and I actually added that to the detail of the paper and the edges of my wood plaque. I also did it to this little piece. I added it to the edges of the little piece. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue this piece down to this piece. And then once we had the shelf on there, I took it out and I gave it a few coats of clear coat by Rust-Oleum, and I also added some screws for strength of the shelf. I then touched them up with the matching color of the spray paint, and I also added 2 sawtooth hangers to the back of it, and I think it turned out quite adorable. All right, my crafty friends, what did you think of this gorgeous shelf? I think it turned out quite cute, and I think my friend is going to love it for her daughter's bedroom. All right, now we're going to move on to our next DIY project. For this DIY, we're going to be working with this round mirror from the Dollar Tree. We'll be working with a wood round from the Dollar Tree. You could also use their wood square hangers. And the star of the show is going to be this neutral palm peel and stick wallpaper from the Dollar Tree. Now, the other ones that I have here are the green, which we used in another video, and those projects turned out so cute. I'll have that linked in the description box below. And then we also have this pretty pattern, which I think would go great with this mirror. It really matches quite well, but I want mine to be more neutral for this project, so I'm going to be using this neutral palm. But first, what we want to do is we want to get our mirror frame painted. Now you can paint this any way you want, but I'm going to go out and spray paint mine, and I'm going to be using this Skinny Dip Satin by Color Shot. So here, I ran out of spray paint, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back out, and I had this in my spray paint stash, and I love this color so much. And I think it matches the wallpaper perfectly. So we're going to go back out and we're going to spray this mirror frame with this spray paint. So let's go. All right, so we have it painted with that color, and I think that is gorgeous. Look at the comparison. I think it's so pretty. All right, now we're going to set this aside and let it finish drying. We're going to continue on, and we're going to process our hanger. Now, I'm going to start by removing the hanger from the sign here. And we might use it, we might not. We'll see what happens here, but you can use it if you want to use that way of hanging it. But now what we're going to do is we're going to stick our peel and stick wallpaper down to our wood round. Now you'll see there's a little bit on the side here, so I'm going to try and match up the little side with the little piece down here because we're going to have some left over, so that'll work out perfectly. And I think the best way to do this is to just turn it over and make sure it's up to the edge there and over to the side, and then we'll just trace it with a pencil. Okay, once we get that done. Now you could also just stick it down and sand the edges off, but I think with the peel and stick, I like to cut it first and then kind of just finish up the edges with the sandpaper. So let's go ahead and get this cut out. Okay, so once we have it cut out, we're just going to set this aside, and we're going to take our cutout and we're going to stick it to our wood round. Now, I want mine to be super secure for this one, and I know this backing is very sticky on this, but I'm going to give a little bit more strength to mine, and I'm going to take it out and spray it with this Craft Bond glue by Elmer's. So I'm going to take this outside and do that, and then we'll continue on and we will stick down our side as well. And as you'll see, I've got this perfect edge, and it matches up exactly to my piece. So that's going to be perfect. Now we have this stuck on, and it's nice and stuck. I actually want to stain the back of it. You can paint it, stain it, whatever you prefer. I'm going to be staining mine, and I'm going to use some of this Waverly wax in the antique. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'm just going to do it with a little rag. And I'm just going to do the edge and maybe bring it over a little bit just to give that a little bit of definition around the wood round. So let's go ahead and get that done. And then we're going to take and glue our piece, our mirror piece, down to our wood round. Now, if your mirror is flush on the bottom, then you can just glue it right to the board. But what I'm going to do, since mine has a little bit of a concave in, I'm going to take some of these little wood discs that I have, and I purchased these. Actually, they used to sell them at Dollar Tree. I'm not sure if they do still, but I got these at Walmart, and they were very, very affordable. So I'm going to glue these to the back of my mirror to make it rise up enough to glue it to the back or to the front side of my wood round. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and then once we have that on, we're now going to add glue to this, and we're going to glue it down to our wood round. So do that. All right, so now we have it stuck down. I think it looks so cute. But I want to add a hanger to mine. We have to make sure we have it correct here. And I'm going to add the hanger right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the hanger down straight flush to the back, so that way the mirror will always be, the pattern can always be adjusted so it's even. Instead of putting a sawtooth hanger and the nails going through the backside because this is so thin, I'm just going to attach this and add some felt at the ends. So let's get that done. Then we have our hanger on the back, and you see you can just put it on a nail because it's very light. And then you have this cute little mirror. Now let me remove the tape and I'll show you the finished piece. All right, my crafty friends, what did you think of this beautiful little mirror? I think it turned out quite nice for using Dollar Tree supplies. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next DIY project. For this DIY, we're going to be working with the Scalloped Edge wood plaque. We're also going to need some peel and stick wallpaper, and I think this is so gorgeous. I love this pattern of their peel and stick wallpaper. You'll need some knobs or blocks or whatever. I got these knobs. My mother-in-law was getting rid of them, so I took them. And you'll need some paint. Now, I'm going to be painting mine in this parchment by Folk Art, and it matches the cream color perfectly in my wallpaper. So let's go ahead and get our plaque painted, and I'm just going to paint it around the edge, and I'm not going to paint the inside of my wood. Now, you could also just leave it the natural wood too. That would be beautiful, but I'm going to paint mine in this. So let's go ahead and get started doing that. Also, once we have our wood plaque painted around the outer edge, we're then going to come in with an Elmer's glue stick, add that to the top of our wood plaque, and then attach our peel and stick wallpaper. All right, now that we have it stuck down, we're going to flip it over, and we're just going to trim along the edge here with our scissors. So we have that done. Once we have it trimmed, now we're just going to let this glue dry, and then we're going to come in and we're going to sand the edges to clean up the excess paper. But first we want to let the glue get good and dry and attach to the adhesive on the back of our peel and stick wallpaper. And then once it's dried, we're just going to take our sandpaper and we're just going to scuff the edges of our peel and stick wallpaper along. Then we're left with this beautiful piece. Now I'm going to take mine outside and I'm going to spray it with some clear coat just to seal the paper and the edges, and then I'll be right back and we'll finish our project. And now we're back in from clear coating it, and I think it looks so pretty. But now we are going to add some feet to the bottom of our riser, and I'm going to be using these little knobs. And to attach them, I'm going to use some of this construction adhesive, but you can use whatever glue you prefer. And then once our feet have dried, we have this cute little riser. What do you guys think? I think it's adorable. All right, my crafty friends, that wraps up our crafting time for this video. What did you think of this last DIY project? I think it turned out quite cute. Let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do so because we'd love to have you here at Sweet Bay Lane. If you really enjoyed the video, make sure you like and hype it. It really helps the channel grow. Well, until next time, make sure and keep it crafty.